If you're watching this video, you're probably a homeowner in Tampa, Florida that's about to make one of life's more important decisions. That is, whether to sell your house fast for cash to a real estate investor or sell the slow traditional way through a realtor. Either option can work, but understanding the following table will help shed some light on how to move forward. Here we can see some estimates of typical discounts and closing costs while selling a $270,000 house through a realtor. The figure of $18,865 at the center of the table represents light and moderate repairs by Tampa standards. The more extensive the repairs are, the less appealing it is to sell a house through a realtor. When selling a house fast for cash to a real estate investor, there is no need to spend money on repairs, and there are no closing costs. Best of all, you wouldn't need to fork over 6% of the total sale just to pay for real estate agent commissions. No matter if a house is ugly and distressed or pretty and well maintained, there are situations where a real estate investor can be a lifesaver. This is true especially if a house is in pre-foreclosure status. An investor is able to quickly purchase a house while providing a set date for the closing. After the closing, the seller is able to walk away with cash in his pocket instead of forfeiting everything to a bank. Realtors can never know exactly when a sale will happen, so they should not be considered in a pre-foreclosure situation. A job relocation is another scenario where selling a house fast for cash becomes a priority. For example, if the owner of a pretty or ugly house has only 3 weeks to move from Tampa to Austin, Texas, he has no choice but to sell to an investor. This is so because he doesn't want to make 2 mortgage payments while his realtor is failing to sell the first house. Also, the logistics of maintaining a house remotely become too complicated. Of course, there are other situations where the lack of time can necessitate a quick sale to an investor, but it's important to say that there are homeowners who are not pressed for time but still turn to investors instead of realtors. These people are typically affluent and see the value of selling their upscale houses using a special selling agreement. With this agreement, the seller allows the investor to lease the property to a tenant who would like to buy the house outright at a later date. The seller doesn't need to spend money on typical repairs because those repairs will be the responsibility of the investor. Also, the seller maintains ownership of the home and gets monthly payments until the tenant buys the property. With this arrangement, the seller never has to worry about keeping the house occupied and can look forward to a much higher sale price when it comes time for the tenant to buy the house. A beautiful Tampa house like the one shown here is a perfect candidate for this kind of lease-to-purchase arrangement. The main rationale for the seller to choose the lease-to-purchase arrangement instead of selling through a realtor is simple. He's behind in his mortgage payments and doesn't have the money to do the repairs. He knows that if he sells the house through a realtor, he will have to sell the house at a deeply discounted price. Plus, he understands that the miscellaneous costs associated with a traditional closing could make him incur a loss. If you were in this situation, would you take monthly payments of pure profit requiring no effort on your part? Would you have the patience to wait a couple years to maximize your earning potential at the closing? Many people in Tampa, Florida are taking advantage of a lease-to-purchase arrangement with an investor, and you can too. Please feel free to contact us at www.fiestahomebuyers.com if you're wondering about how to sell your house without a realtor. Whether you'd like to sell your house fast for cash or opt for a lease-to-purchase agreement, we can give you enough information so you'll be able to make an informed decision.